What's going on, everyone? In this video, while showing you footage from my latest training session, I wanted to talk about a topic that's slightly different than usual. Rather than give insights about my exercise technique or my competition prep progress, I thought I would share some thoughts and ideas revolving around the competitive element of competing in natural bodybuilding. And more specifically, I wanted to open up and share what I think are my three main reasons for competing. It's going to be a super honest introspection, so get ready for that. Before I jump into it, if you find yourself enjoying the video, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, I'll kick this off with a big question. What is the purpose of participating in a competition? The answer that immediately pops in your head is probably the obvious one. It's to win. The main purpose of any competition is, after all, to determine, out of all of the participants, who is the best of the group. From what I've learned, however, while competition is about determining a winner, it's about more than just that. To give proper context for my reasons for competing, I'll quickly elaborate on that. Competition provides a special environment for pursuing excellence at a given skill or set of skills. We're all born with our own weaknesses, but also strengths or talents, which if we foster and refine, we have the potential to grow to something pretty incredible. A good example of this that comes to mind for me is within the music field. I think of my time in classical music school specifically. See, in music school, there are regularly held competitions, like ensemble placement auditions or concerto competitions. Each type of competition is a means of pushing each participant to practice consistently and strategically to better themselves at their craft. And although there is only one winner for each of those competitions, like a concerto competition, for example, every one of the participants will have improved at their craft or as musicians. Although there can only be one winner, everyone involved actually benefits greatly. Iron sharpens iron. See, that's the thing with competitions. The competitive element incentivizes each participant to better themselves much more than if they did not have a competition to work towards. So, competitions are a means of finding a winner, yes, but they are also a means of making all participants better, or of seeking excellence in their skills or talents. The prospect of that is something that really resonates with me. See, I'm currently in the middle of my 5th prep. I've competed 7 times with 1 win and 6 lower placings, ranging from 2nd to 6th. So when it comes to natural bodybuilding, I'm far from a Chris Bumstead who seemingly wins every competition he participates in. I actually lose a lot. In fact, I lose most of the time. And that brings up an interesting question. If I'm sure of my potential to win, and with my history showing that there is a much greater probability that I will lose, then what's the point? If you're a competitive natural bodybuilder, maybe you've asked yourself the same question. Anyhow, this brings me to my first reason why I choose to compete. I find what I mentioned earlier to be greatly appealing, that competitions are a means of pushing for excellence of your skills and talents, regardless of if you win or lose. If I don't win, there is still a lot of good that comes from doing the competitions, and that I become a better, more skillful natural bodybuilder as a byproduct. As far as my physical genetics go, I know that I'm at least a bit above average as far as my shape and muscle growth potential goes. I'm definitely not at the very top of the genetic pool, but I do think I'm above average. Where I feel my real natural proclivities are, though, are in my will, or my ability to stay consistent with dieting and hard training for very long periods of time. I think my level of potential discipline and mental endurance is a talent. Natural bodybuilding competitions are a means of homing in on that skill set of mine, and I think that fostering that talent is a good thing. I'll be honest with you in that I don't know exactly where pursuing that kind of excellence will lead, just that I think doing so can only lead somewhere positive. The extreme alternative would be to let time pass me by and neglect the potential behind for that skill set. And that seems like it would only lead to somewhere negative. So that's my first reason for competing. It's a means of growing in excellence in what I perceive as being my natural talents. Okay, now I'll be honest and say I do want to win, and that's my second reason for competing. I mentioned that I'm not exactly at the very top of the genetic pool, but I do have hope that if I continue working hard and pursuing natural bodybuilding, that despite not being at the top genetically, I can still get good enough to the point of winning. From a statistical standpoint, most competitors are at odds of winning on paper. That being so, I think that most repeat competitors participate despite knowing the statistical odds are against them and do it from a place of self-belief instead. At least, I'll speak for myself and say that that's the case for me. I suppose one of the reasons I've been thinking a lot about this topic of why I compete lately is just because the possibility of losing is very real. And in my case, up to this point, it's what's happened most of the time. But even so, I'm still competing to win. What if I don't, though? Well, I know that it's okay at the end of the day. I know that simply in pushing myself to become better for the purposes of competition, it'll lead me to grow, evolve, and refine my talents, which goes back to my first reason for competing. And even if that doesn't result in a win, I suspect it will lead to some other good, even if I'm not exactly sure of what that is right now. I can also rest easy knowing that at least I did my best and gave it my all, considering the alternative of not doing so would always leave me wondering and even regretting not giving it a shot. Now, I want to make a special point in sharing something that I've come to realize over the many years that I've been competing now. And that's that there's a danger in putting winning too high on a pedestal. There are things that are much more important than getting a gold medal, like your family and your friends. Honestly, this might sound super obvious, but it's been something that has taken me a long time to truly figure out. Aiming to win, I think, is a-okay. Being competitive is good, but the danger is allowing winning to become a disordered desire, where it's elevated to the point of being above or put above things that ought to be higher than it. Again, this is something that took me a long time to learn, and if I'm being honest, it's still something that I wrestle with. See, putting winning on too high of a pedestal will be inevitably problematic in any context. If you don't win, then you'll be left feeling super empty. That's something I've definitely felt before. If you put all your eggs in one basket and don't win it all, then you'll be left kind of with nothing. It's not a great feeling. And if you win, you'll ironically also be left feeling a little bit empty. Having a gold medal is cool. There's no denying that. But it can't feel that cool if you've neglected the things that are more important, like your family, in the process of getting that gold medal. Outside of developing my talents and potentially winning, I've got one more reason why I compete that I think is worth mentioning. So this might sound kind of woo-woo to many people, but here it is for you anyways. I simply feel intrinsically compelled to compete for a reason that I can't really explain. It's kind of like an internal pull that doesn't seem to have a straightforward, logical explanation behind why. Maybe some of you can relate to that. If you do, let me know in the comments. I have a drive to do this whole natural bodybuilding thing because I think it's just what I'm meant to do, whether I win or lose. And I know that if I wasn't doing it, I would regret that. I think it's part of what I'm called to do, to be honest, regardless of not knowing all of the reasons why that is. That being the case, I'm going to keep sticking with it and have faith that the reasons for doing so will be made more apparent over time. And there you have it. Competitions are a means of showcasing who's the best. But in addition to that, they're also a means of developing your skills and talents, whether you win or not. For me, I've got three main reasons for competing. The first is to refine, develop, and ultimately reach a level of excellence with my own natural talents. Although I know I'm not the absolute cream of the crop as far as the physical genetic pool goes, I do think I have a good amount of talent in my ability to be disciplined, my ability to endure decent amounts of physical and mental discomfort for relatively long periods of time, and that I've got a good ability to pay attention to the details when it comes to training and dieting. I think that fostering and developing those talents will lead me to good things. My second reason for competing is to win. Although I know the odds are definitely stacked against me, I do have enough self-belief to keep me motivated and driven to keep trying. And again, while setting my sights on winning, I am also wrestling with and doing my best to ensure that that doesn't become a disordered desire. And my third reason for competing is I feel compelled to do it for reasons that I actually can't really explain. I think it's my calling to continue competing in natural bodybuilding competitions. And although I don't fully understand the reason why that is, I trust that as I continue doing it, it'll make sense over time. At this point, I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you compete? What are your reasons for doing it? Let me know in the comments. Before this video comes to a close, I wanted to quickly let you know about the work that I do. When I'm not making YouTube videos, recording podcast episodes, or making Instagram content, I work full-time as an online physique coach where I help my clients to accomplish their muscle growth and fat loss goals by optimizing their approach to strength training and nutrition, and I coach them through the process. I've been doing this work for over 7 years and love helping my clients to not only transform their bodies, but ultimately their lives. If you've been considering getting some help with accomplishing your own physique goals, please consider hitting the link in the description below where you can learn a little bit more about the work that I do and how I can help you. You can even use that link to schedule a free video consultation with me. If you have any questions about my coaching or how I can help you, just email me at sam@jadeathletics.ca. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.